Hey guys, Zom Fox here, and today we're going to be talking about 5 reasons why the UFL should not expand in 2025. Yes, expansion, everybody's either favorite or least favorite topic in spring football. The fact is, this is a very divisive topic on whether or not there should be expansion, should there be relocation, and a lot of different things like that. But I'm going to give 5 reasons why the league should not expand in 2025. I will have a follow-up video on this coming up on Thursday about 5 reasons why the UFL should expand in 2026. So, we're going to be going over 5 reasons, but also talk about really quickly why I'm doing this video now instead of at the end of the year when I originally wanted to do it. Well, the main reason is because this article that came out a few days ago by UFL News Hub. The UFL 2024 Midseason Review, Strong Markets, Struggles, Expansion Talk, and New Trademarks. This article caused a lot of commotion about potential expansion and relocation. Now, there's a lot of things to take from this article, but essentially the gist is that they say that the league is potentially being forced to expand in 2025 due to the government, and that there are threats of potential teams like the Panthers or Showboats relocating. Now, there is a lot to take with this, and there is a grain of salt with this article. UFL News Hub is the only site that has reported on either of those things, and while Mike Mitchell has talked about issues with the Memphis market, in terms of relocation at this stage is something that we really haven't heard at all. No other site like Pro Football Newsroom, Sports Illustrated has ever, or insiders like James Larson and Mike Mitchell or Andrew Miller have ever talked about the government forced expansion. That still is at this point a rumor. I watched the video version of this article, and even there Mark Perry didn't confirm that this was a for sure. It just seems that they might be allowed to expand. And of course, UFL News Hub has been accused and all but proven guilty of using AI to write articles before. So while there is potential truth that they may be forced to expand next year, it is still a rumor that they were forced to expand by the government. So until we hear some concrete evidence about that or more reports other than just Mark Perry, we have to take it as pretty much a false statement at this point. So I'm going to be giving 5 reasons why the UFL should not expand in 2025. Now the first one is you still don't know what you have. Now a lot of people might scoff at this, but this is true. The whole UFL merger process was done pretty badly, mainly because it just took a lot of time. Look, the original report from Axios was September 19th. And basically, nothing happened until they made it apparent that they are having an intent to merge a month later. But then, nothing really happened. We didn't officially get any sort of word until December 27th, when we kind of did when you had the Fox clip of the Let's Play Football from the original XFL. And then a couple days later, we saw that, it was formally being announced. The UFL, January 1st, is when we found out the 8 teams and basically everything we needed to know. So, January 1st is basically when the league firmly got established. That's the easiest way to put it. When the 8 teams got announced, that's when your league truly started. And at that point, there were still a lot of issues. The main one being we still didn't know where Houston was going to play, and we would come to find out that there would be a bunch of issues with the Michigan Panthers ticket holders. Now, or not ticket holders, but ticket sales and all that. So what does that mean? Why am I bringing that up? Well, the reason is they weren't able to market at all. The USFL and XFL both had issues where they basically could only advertise on their own respective networks, right? USFL had ads on NBC and Fox. The XFL had ads on ABC and ESPN. Now that they were together, you'd expect a lot more advertisements across them both. And while there have been, the issue is you couldn't do it when you really needed to. You couldn't do it during the end of the regular season for the NFL or college football. You had to basically get a couple playoff games for the NFL and a couple playoff games, really maybe just the championship game for the CFB. So those are some of the big issues. You lost a lot of potential marketing there, and local marketing took a hit as well. You couldn't locally market because you didn't know what teams were going to be in the league. The fact is, after listening to what Mike Mitchell said, it wasn't until the 11th hour these 2 leagues knew what teams were going to be in the merge league. They still didn't know whether or not it was going to be the Gamblers or Roughnecks brand. So you couldn't locally market at all. This is a massive issue, as that meant that there was still no real way to connect to the fans. Yes, these teams had played there before, but in terms of getting them excited for a new season that had a completely new start date, you couldn't really market to that. So you don't actually know what you have currently. All the numbers that are good are exceptional because of the fact that they shouldn't be good. They were expecting decreases in attendance, and we're seeing teams like the Battlehawks and Defenders still put up great numbers. Now, while yes, the USFL-sided teams have been disappointing, yes, the Renegades have been disappointing in attendance, but again, they still don't know what they have because you couldn't market at all. And there's a couple other issues with certain markets like Memphis, which has been very bad this year, But again, who's to say that they wouldn't average over 8,000 next season with a slightly better team and more marketing? And so the first issue is that they don't know what they have. Why expand, why relocate if you don't already know what you have? Now, the second issue that also kind of ties into the third issue is you can make spring football history next year. Believe it or not, if the UFL were to stick with the same 8 teams in the same 8 cities, that would be the first time in a major spring football league that has ever happened. Even if you count like a summer league like the World Football League, we have not seen that. Right? The original XFL, 1 year. The WLF, technically like a year and a half, but really 1 full year. The USFL, the original one, played 3 seasons. A bunch of teams moved. They added teams, they lost teams. The AAF only played not even a full season. The XFL, even then, they didn't bring back the same 8 teams when they returned in 2023. And the modern day USFL, even if you just take away the fact that the hub issue, they still changed the team. We have not had a single league be able to play 2 full spring football seasons with the exact same teams. That is a massive, massive milestone that can happen. When the USFL played its first championship game in 2022, that was historic. That was a league playing its first full spring football league season since the XFL, 2001. Then when they did it again in 2023, that was the first time since the original USFL that a league made it through 2 seasons. But this can be truly a first. This is real history. This is a potential first-time opportunity. And why does it go with the next one? Because the next one is build trust with the fans. People seem to always forget about this. But people are not just going to go and support a team if they don't believe it's going to stay. I've heard a bunch of people talk about Memphis. Memphis is a market that does work. There is a reason why the World Football League, the Canadian Football League, the original USFL, the modern USFL, the original XFL, all of those leagues, and technically the NFL just for a little bit with the whole Titans-Oilers situation, but all those other leagues went to Memphis for a reason. The issue is, none of those leagues lasted. The Memphis team has lost a bunch of teams. And of course, most recently, the AAF, the Memphis Express. So of course, the Memphis show's attendance is terrible. 5,600 is an abysmal number that we saw this past week. But again, why are the fans going to go out there and support the team if they don't believe it can stay? If they stay here again next season, that can build some trust with the fans and make fans actually think about going and supporting the team. And just some other quick examples. Just take the AAF, the first true modern-day spring football league. The San Antonio Commanders averaged over 20,000 fans a game. The Brahmas haven't even come close to that mark this season, and they only hit it once last year. The Orlando Apollos. And yes, the Guardians are, not in the league this year, but they were in the XFL last year. The Guardians had 12,000 once, 10,000 another time, and then couldn't ever hit 8,000. The Orlando Apollos had 20,000 twice in the AAF. Even the Birmingham Iron, while they had a couple bad games in the midseason, they had 3 games with above 17,000. And from what we know, only the season opener of 2022 had that mark for the Stallions. All of these cities, despite the ups and downs of the team, how good they are, the marketing, they still need to have trust with this league and their teams. They're not going to go out and spend money on the team, go spend money on merch, go spend money to go to a game unless they believe the league is going to be here to stay. So being able to build trust with your fans is a must, and expanding or relocating isn't really going to do that. If you do it too quick and too hastily, it's going to be a big issue, especially relocation. Everybody pretty much knows at this point that if any team gets relocated, that market is officially dead. You can never go back. And you cannot risk that, especially as a league like the UFL. So build trust with your fans. Take time. Understand it's a slow process. Slow and steady. You have to be slow. You can't be overzealous. Now, the fourth issue is the fact that 2026 would just be a better date. Yes, I will talk about this as well during that video that will come out on Thursday about why 2026 is when they should expand. Barring any sort of, issues with construction, renovations that, push it back, 2026 is a great time. The Shrine on Airline Stadium should be done renovating. That is a smaller stadium, which is what everybody wants to see. It's a stadium that you could legitimately sell out. And that's where the Breakers probably would play. The USFL was in contact with the Shrine, but they went under renovations. It is a belief among a lot of people that that's why the Breakers never got to play New Orleans. They couldn't go to Tulane, or Tulane's just too big a stadium. They were going to go to the Shrine, but renovations. This would allow you to bring back the Breakers in 2026, who, especially from recent TV markets, has shown to be a great market. They are the third leading TV viewer for all games on Fox of the UFL. So people in New Orleans are still watching spring football despite having never seen the Breakers play in New Orleans. And I talked about it back in 2022, back in 2023. When the USFL was playing, the Breakers' online fan base was even bigger than basically every team but the Stallions. And then, of course, the other one, I know some people have issues with it, but Camping World Stadium for the Orlando Guardians. Their renovations are supposed to be done by the 2027 college football season, which means that they will be done by the 2028 Spring Football League season. You see where I'm getting at? That gives you another team you can bring back in 2028 to make an every other year small expansion. You want to add one expansion team and one old team? 2026. Add a team in Columbus or Omaha and bring back the Breakers, 2028. Add a team in the other one of those two cities, bring back the Guardians, 2030. Bring back the Dragons, or, bring back both the Dragons and Breakers in 2026. 2026 is just simply put a better date to do it. The amount of benefits you'll have, especially because at that point, you'll understand the markets better. You'll know which areas are still watching spring football without having a team. You'll know what markets have NHL teams, have MLB teams. As you know, the NHL is still thinking about potential expansion again, so you'll know better in that time. So just wait it out. Wait another year, 2026. You get another full year to work on stadium deals with other cities. Maybe you do want to bring back the Dragons. You can, get some talks in about how much, a stadium lease would be and all that. So 2026 is a better date. And the final one, and maybe the best reason, just look at the AFL. Now look, some people are saying some of these reports aren't true, but we do know some of these are true. The Arena Football League, a league that I've made a couple videos on and haven't for a while. Why? It's been a disaster. The league went way too fast. They went 16 teams their first season back. The Arena Football League originally never had that many teams, by the way. They expanded too quick by immediately starting with 16 teams, and guess what's happening? You have players on certain teams not getting paid at all for basically anything. You have a team that's folded already, that played a game after announcing they were folding and then folded. You have games that were supposed to be on NFL Network get pulled from the channel. You have rumors that potentially 8 more teams are going to fold in the next couple of weeks. And then you have the Oregon Black Bears, who have had the same issue for 2 weeks, where their home stadium where they play, its roof is so short that whenever, a ball is kicked for a kickoff, it just hits the roof and is a touchback. The Arena Football League is proof of why you have to take it slow. You can't just go overzealous and go all out. The Arena Football League tried that, and so far it's been a massive disaster. And especially when you consider how much more expensive an outdoor football league is, you can't just go rush and go out to get 16-team league. That's the whole reason they went with 8. Yes, I hated it. Most of you hated it. We hoped to be 12, at least 10 teams. It was only 8. But the fact is, if you're going to start with 8, you're basically saying, yes, we are taking this slow. So don't go and expand and add 2 or 4 teams, go relocate a team when you don't have to. Wait, take it slow, find better deals, find cities that you know are going to work, try to build what you already have instead of trying to establish something new. You're not going to find another St. Louis where you're just going to get 30,000 plus a game. The odds of that happening are slim. Could you? Sure, there's a possibility, but the odds of that happening are slim to none. So just take what you have, try to build off it. Don't do what the AFL did. Don't go balls to the wall, full sprint to a wall, and just die, because that's what the Arena Football League is at this point. A lot of people are very skeptical on if it does play a full season or if a bunch of teams move. Remember, indoor football teams move leagues. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a couple of these teams go to the IFL. So again, look at the AFL. Do not go way too hard, just take it slow. And so that'll do it for my 5 reasons why the UFL should not expand in 2025. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my reasonings. And what do you think about 2026 expansion? As I said, I will be doing a video on 5 reasons why the UFL should expand in 2026, which will be coming out on Thursday this week. So if you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified as soon as I upload any video, including that video on Thursday, as I upload at least 4 UFL videos a week, as well as 1 weekly short, and live stream or live play-by-play 1 game at least every other week, but so far every week that I've started. And if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, think about becoming a channel member for as low as 99 cents a month. You get an exclusive non-UFL sports video every month, as well as multiple team emojis exclusive to members, as well as many other benefits. And as always, have a great night.